Hi, everybody. I'm having issues today. Okay, there we go. Hi. Welcome to week 7 and some information for 30-2. First off, it's May the 4th. It is Star Wars Day, so happy Star Wars Day. And if you have Disney Plus, every single Star Wars movie is now up there, so you can watch them all. I really have zero school information for you. If I had it, I'd give it to you, but nothing really new has happened. We've basically been told to expect that this is occurring till the end of the year from the provincial government on, I think that was Thursday. But that's really it. So keep on keeping on. Okay. I talked to a lot of you last week, which was awesome. And yeah, we'll just keep going. Okay. So weekly update. So there's 2 things I want you to watch. I think this just kind of disappeared in here, but there's on the rack, you can watch the video, Hungary's PM gets sweeping powers to tackle coronavirus. We're going to go through the PowerPoint for week 7 and read the textbook. And there's some pages there. And then also that article, it's from the Al Jazeera media. The activity book for chapter 10 is up. And then there's an assignment on emergency legislation and challenging liberalism. So make sure you complete that self-evaluation for week 6. I posted it on Friday. And by the end of this week, you should know about land claims and religious rights and the laws. Okay. So challenging liberalism. This vocab is going to be in your activity book. So please make sure you kind of understand this. It'll help you for completing the assignment. So basically what we're looking at this week is if liberalism is all about individual rights and freedoms, like that sounds like a good thing, right? You'd think that everybody would want that. But why is it not universally accepted? And so are there other ways that people make our world a better place? Because we can't assume that everybody is evil if they don't follow liberalism. So there's different perspectives we need to look at. We've talked about Aboriginals before and Indigenous people. So Indigenous people and Aboriginals, they believe in the collective stewardship of the land, whereas Europeans really believe that like there's private property, right? And so there are very different views, and that really had an impact on like how they interacted. So you know this, brief review. First Nations people lived in peace and harmony. They had cooperation. Each person is sacred. European settlers just wanted to keep the peace. They wanted to acquire lands, resources, things like that. This is in your textbook as well. So Aboriginal beliefs focus on collectivism. The group is more important than the individual. All living things are interconnected, and we have a responsibility to protect everyone and everything on this earth, okay? So when the collective values of the Aboriginal people came in contact with the liberal goals of the settlers, the government tried to intervene, but they only intervened in behalf of the settlers and on those who were colonizing. And so they didn't really speak for the Indigenous people whatsoever. And so these are policies like assimilation or residential schools or treaties, right? And so First Nations people were very marginalized in Canadian society. They were forced to follow rules that the government had set out that they had no say in making. They weren't involved in the communication. They weren't involved in the writing of it. They weren't consulted whatsoever. Now, in 1982, the Constitution Act was passed, and part of the Constitution did recognize Aboriginal collective rights. And so Section 35 of the Constitution Act and Section 25 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms did look at recognizing Aboriginal rights. And this is Pierre Trudeau signing it with Zequeen. So First Nations people now had legal standing in disputes over land, fishing, and resources, which is good. But this has been going on for like for so long. Like treaties were signed in like 1906, right? So more than 100 years that those original treaties, 1906, 1907, 1908, something like that, that they've been trying to deal with these territorial issues, okay? Now, many of the recent disputes in Alberta have to do with oil and gas development. And you see that within BC as well with the Keystone Pipeline, okay? So looking at ownership, environmental concerns, public interest, things like that, okay? Then I want you to look at religious perspectives. So sometimes religious beliefs come in conflict with liberal values of the Canadian government. Now, keep in mind, I'm not talking like Liberal Party. I'm just talking about like liberalism as a whole, because the Conservative Party is still considered a liberal democratic party. Okay. So one example is the Doukhobors. Now, they came from Russia. They were pacifists. They didn't want to get involved in wars. And so at the beginning of the century with like the Russian Civil War and World War I and things like that, they didn't want to get involved. They also refused to recognize secular government, which, that is a spelling mistake. I apologize. It should be led, LED, not lead. So they were persecuted in their homeland, and I'm going to fix that right away. Okay. So they held collectivist beliefs. They wanted to work as a community. They had no beliefs on like private property. They refused the military service that had become mandatory in Russia. That's one of the reasons they signed over. They wouldn't sign any oaths of allegiance to Canada, which like is kind of odd to move to a country and then be like, no, I'm not signing that. Okay. So they also rejected like keeping their children out of schools. They wouldn't pay taxes. They weren't going to register their land as individuals. They said, no, we'll only do it as a community. And so in 1906, the government was like, screw this. Like, if you're moving to our country, you have to follow our rules. And so they actually started to take away some of their land. And so then their leader purchased a large amount of land on like an individual basis, which kind of followed more laws. And so a lot of them moved to BC. But then they started to have more protests against the government, some involving new demonstrations and arson, which I would think really shouldn't go together, but that's just me. As well, because education was like mandatory within Canada, because they refused to send their children to schools, the government actually started to take some of their children away, which kind of ties back in with residential schools, right? Some other religious perspectives, there's been concerns about Sharia law within Canada. So some Muslims want to be able to apply Sharia law to personal matters in their community. So Sharia law is basically Islamic law. And since we are a secular nation, we don't have religious like strings on our laws, although they are still really based off of a Judeo-Christian law, like the 10 Commandments. Don't kill, don't steal, things like that. Okay. But for Sharia law, for Islamic law, they have different specific laws for like divorce and marriage and things like that. And so they don't want to have to follow Canadian or American law for some of that. Now, the argument is within Canada, again, well, you've come to Canada, you have to follow our law. Environmentalism, we will talk about this a bit more in the next chapter, so I won't go into it too much. But environmentalism is often at odds with liberalism. There's a lot of protests involving like the tar sands and the pipelines and things like that. And so it creates some problems, okay? Okay, so this week, what you're going to do is something a little different. So Hungary's prime minister basically got like total straight legit control within Hungary to enforce laws on COVID-19 to the point of like almost being a dictatorship. And it was kind of like granted onto him. And some people argue that like some of the stuff the Canadian government is doing is like akin to a dictatorship, but it's really not. There's a lot of checks and balances in place so that like Trudeau can't just like take total control. We haven't declared an Emergencies Act, things like that. But in Hungary, it's basically like, whoop, I took all control and I have all power. So there's a video on it, and then there's an article on it that I want you to read. And so the article's here. You have to watch that video. They're pretty similar, but it just kind of presents the information in two different ways. And then you'll need your textbook to answer the questions on the Google form. So it's like a multiple choice, and then there's a short answer, and then you just basically hit submit, and then that's your response for the week. But it's a really interesting article because it goes through a lot of information on what it is to have a liberal government, but then like unequivocally take those powers away. So I guess we'll kind of see what happens as the emergency passes, and if he gives it back. We'll have a webinar. We'll have a Teams meeting on May 6th. It'll be from 1 to 1:45. So I'll post it for you, and then I'll record it. So I really hope you guys show up because I want to see you and I want you to interact. And I really feel like you don't need to still be sleeping at 1 p.m. And I did talk to a lot of you and your parents in the last week, and I've gotten lots of assignments in since then, which is awesome. Although now I have more marking, but that's okay. But um, like 1 p.m. is really not early at all. So please come, okay? So it's a pretty easy week, and the Google form shouldn't take too long to complete. I know that you marked or you handed in your essay on Monday, so I know that that was a busy week for you. So I tried to make it pretty chill. So you're welcome, huh? Maui, Moana. Anyways, and that's it. And I will talk to you guys pretty soon. And have a good day. Bye.